because he continues to lie to the world about what I said and who I was pointing the finger at.
Like, never even cashed a check still. Have $100 million that I never even cashed before. I have a tax attorney that takes care of everything when everything is okay.
Floyd Mayweather, a white man once worth hundreds of millions, living like a king, flaunting private jets and million-dollar jewelry, Rye, is now hiding not from fans or the spotlight, but after a federal raid on his Lawson Vegas mansion. His entire empire is under serious scrutiny.
Now I'm here to talk to the people about one of my jewelers. It's not one of my new jewelers, one of my low-key jewelers. Tony, at Pasha in Manhattan Beach, California. You guys need to come check.
Behind the luxury and confidence was a storm quietly brewing. The whispers of bankruptcy are no longer just rumors, says. They're becoming a reality at his peak. Mayweather wasn't just a boxer. He was an empire. Multiple mansions spread across the country. Garages packed with rare cars, closets lined with million-dollar jewelry, Rye, and not one but two private jets. This wasn't wealth. It was domination.
Into my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me.
But with extreme wealth came extreme spending and eventually extreme consequences. The mansions didn't pay for themselves, and the jets didn't fuel themselves. And as the fight stopped and the income slowed, the bills kept stacking. He was living like the checkers would never stop coming till they did. The image stayed alive, but the reality behind it kept getting darker. Public appearances became more strange, interviews erratic, and people started to notice something wasn't right.
Floyd Mayweather is the most successful boxer in history with a 50-0 record, and one of the wealthiest athletes of all time with $1 billion in earnings. But I bet you didn't know, it all started with a $750,000 bet on himself. Here's the wild story. In 2006, Floyd Mayweather was 10 years into his boxing career and earning over $5 million per fight. At the time, Mayweather was signed to Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing promotion, a partnership which saw Arum get 25% of Mayweather's fight purse. But Mayweather wanted more, and in 2006, he turned down $8 million to fight Antonio Margarita and said he deserved $20 million to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Arum wasn't happy and wouldn't pay up, so Mayweather paid the $750,000 exit fee in his contract to leave Top Rank. Mayweather then went on to promote his own fights, earning a percentage of every ticket, hot dog, and beer sold at the event, and most importantly, all pay-per-views sold. And just 1 year later in 2007, after leaving Top Rank, Mayweather made $25 million for his win against Oscar De La Hoya. Now that's what happens when you bet on yourself.
The man who once stood as the symbol of success was now stumbling under the weight of his own empire's lawsuits. Tax issues and financial rumors flooded the headlines. Everything he had built started to look like a house of cards, one that was now shaking even as the walls began to close in around Mayweather. Some voices still stand by his financial decisions. Joe Rogan, for instance, has publicly praised him, calling him a genius when it comes to managing wealth and building a brand that transcends boxing.
He's a genius.
But admiration alone can't protect someone from financial collapse. Despite the glowing praise, Mayweather's money moves are now under a microscope. His empire, once thought untouchable, is showing signs of serious cracks. Lavish spending, mounting legal issues, and allegations of unpaid taxes have sparked growing concern. What was once seen as brilliance is now being reevaluated as recklessness in a recent discussion. Joe Rogan delved deeper into Mayweather's financial strategies, highlighting how the boxing legend has diversified his income streams beyond the ring.
No points, right? Because it's an exhibition. So that's what's interesting is Floyd's making more money than anybody, and he's boxing people who have no chance of beating him, and he's doing it as an exhibition. It doesn't even hurt his record.
Because of the drug of boxing. Just
also
like
money.
Just like but I don't even think he don't need any money.
He spends so much money.
Yeah, but he don't need any.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Floyd good.
I bet if he's planning for the future, you got to keep it coming in if you're going to keep spending the way he spends.
Yeah, but I think he has a lot of other business interests that he can get money from.
Hopefully.
And not just boxing. But it's the drug of getting Floyd still.
Rogan emphasized Mayweather's ventures into real estate, brand endorsements, and exhibition matches as key components of his wealth-building approach. Hinted out that Mayweather's ability to monetize his persona and leverage his fame has been instrumental in maintaining his financial status. However, with recent scrutiny over his claimed investments and spending habits, questions have arisen about the sustainability of this model. While Mayweather's business acumen is undeniable, the line between calculated risk and overextension becomes increasingly blurred as the narrative unfolds. The true state of Mayweather's finances remains a topic of intense debate and speculation. Oscar De La Hoya, a longtime rival has recently taken to social media to mock Mayweather's financial situation in a short video. De La Hoya sarcastically questioned Mayweather's claims of wealth, suggesting that the boxing legend's financial empire might not be as solid as he portrayed.
Floyd Mayweather fought another exhibition against Gotti last Saturday. A real the crowd booing in the arena at the end. But in the middle of the second round, Floyd literally had the referee swapped out. He didn't like that the referee told him to stop hitting behind the head. Floyd is used to having the refs do whatever he wants, and he wasn't getting his way this time. It was so embarrassing. Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. I've stood up for you in countless interviews, including Shannon Sharp's podcast last week. But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard. I know life is expensive. But come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse. Your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're gonna have to sell off your assets. I hate seeing this happen.
De La Hoya's comments have added fuel to the fire, with many fans and commentators speculating about the true state of Mayweather's finances. The public jabs between the two boxing icons have reignited their long-standing feud, bringing Mayweather's financial dealings back into the spotlight as questions continue to mount. The boxing world watches closely, awaiting clarity on whether Mayweather's empire is as robust as he claims, or if it's on the brink of collapse. Oscar De La Hoya's public shots weren't the only ones aimed at Mayweather. The cracks in Floyd's inner circle started showing, and that's when things turned from bad to explosive. Stated, "Now I go around and knock Floyd out when I see him, and I don't care about going back to jail. He's such a coward. He doesn't allow his security to carry guns." That tweet wasn't just a jab. It was a public declaration of war from someone Mayweather once mentored. For a fighter who was once seen as the future of Mayweather, promotions turning on Floyd in this way revealed something much deeper: fractured trust, personal betrayal, and growing resentment from those closest to him. Mayweather built a brand around loyalty, dominance, and control, but now even his own protégés are ready to turn their backs on him or worse, despite the mounting criticisms and controversies. Mayweather continues to project confidence in a resurfaced video from years ago. He speaks on building generational wealth, emphasizing his commitment to securing a financial legacy for his family.
I believe in building generational wealth. Even like when my children, all 4 of my children are adults. And I told them, no more handouts. Because I feel like I'm hurting my children just by, I give them money, they go shopping, they put gas in their car, they party, they come back, I need money. I give them money, I buy them houses, I buy them cars. Told them, listen, you guys go to school or you work in one of my businesses, then you can branch off, get your own business, and I'll put the money up to help you start a business, but I need you guys to take what I've already started and triple and double that, and then I need my grandchildren to come behind you guys and do the same.
At the time, it painted a picture of a man in complete control, someone who had mastered the money game. But now, watching it in hindsight, it feels more like a mask. The message was solid, but the reality that followed told a very different story. What once seemed like wisdom now plays more like irony in a last-ditch attempt to keep the brand alive. Mayweather turned to international exhibition fights, selling the spectacle, not the sport.
I'm getting a workout at the same time. Why not?
Right. No, I agree. I think it's amazing. I just love the fact that he's gamed the system.
Yeah.
Because the system is you get to a certain point in time, you're a champion, make as much money as you possibly can, you retire, and then there's no more money. Yeah. And Floyd's like, let me just box some people that have zero chance.
Yeah.
And then now with what's going on in like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, like you can get paid insane amounts of money. Like if you're Floyd, people just want to see you perform.
Definitely.
And he
not just if you Floyd. You see Tyson Fury now went over there and
he's got to fight in Ghana. Yeah, that's happening in October. That is an interesting.
These events became less about legacy and more about cash grabs. Appearances in places like the UAE brought big checks, but also bigger questions. Is he staying active or just staying afloat? The audience may cheer, but behind the scenes, the pressure is mounting. The image of Money Mayweather is harder to maintain than ever. Even Joe Rogan, who once called Mayweather a genius for how he handled his money, couldn't have predicted this. Exhibition fights, social media stunts, and desperate brand deals aren't the signs of a man in control. They're signs of a man trying to hold on to a crumbling empire amidst the growing scrutiny. Even prominent figures in the boxing world are voicing their concerns. In a recent interview, renowned promoter Eddie Hearn expressed skepticism about Mayweather's financial status.
How about Mayweather?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
not the biggest
I think that Mayweather was unquestionably one of the best ever. But I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say he's not a true fighter because he fought everybody he could of his era. But he was a different kind of skill set. He was very much hit and don't get hit, which is the art of boxing. I think sometimes when these guys carry on and they do the exhibitions and all that kind of stuff, it just sort of diminishes the legacy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's what I feel like's happened with Mayweather.
Why do you think he does those things, though? Do you think
for money?
I
don't think he's got the money he says. That's what I think.
I think he still needs the money after all these years.
I don't think he needs the money. But when you got that lifestyle, right? So when you're spending what he's spending,
it's a lot of expense.
Kern remarked, "I don't think he's got the money. He says that's what I think." He further elaborated on the challenges of maintaining an extravagant lifestyle, suggesting that Mayweather's continued exhibition bouts might be financially motivated. Such candid observations from a respected industry insider add weight to the ongoing discussions about the true state of Mayweather's finances, and now even voices outside the ring but deeply respected in the world of sports are weighing in. StephenASmith, H, never one to hold back, made his stance clear on the Mayweather situation.
As if not the greatest boxer in history, he's absolutely sensational. But he retired years ago, and for me personally, I know these exhibition matches are entertaining. I like the one with Conor McGregor, not so much the one with Logan Paul. Looking at these exhibitions and all of that stuff, that little melee and stuff don't matter to me. As far as I'm concerned, it could have potentially been orchestrated. I don't know. But I do know not just anybody should be allowed to be in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather.
Absolutely.
Smith didn't mince words. He pointed out that if these bankruptcy rumors are true, it's not just disappointing, it's outright embarrassing. A man who called himself the best ever and who made over $1 billion from boxing is now caught up in financial scandals. It's a narrative that shouldn't exist, and yet here we are. His comments echo a larger truth. This isn't just about Mayweather's legacy in the ring. It's about what's left outside of it. The silence from Mayweather's camp speaks volumes, but in the fight game, silence never lasts long, and the voices coming forward are only getting louder. And then came Chael Sonnen, never wants to sugarcoat the truth.
First off, he's never gotten $100 million for a fight. There's reports that he was the highest paid athlete over Christian Ronaldo.
You think it's bullshit?
I know it is.
So if you had to guess, what do you think's the most Floyd ever made in a fight?
Oh, I think that Floyd, he's probably made about 60 million before in one night. But no, there's 100 million, 130 million. They just didn't have. I know that Floyd is still getting in there as recently as this weekend because he needed the money.
Do you think he blew through all of his money?
I'm claiming for you, he in his whole career has made about 100 million. People think he made 130 in a night. I'm sharing with you he didn't. No boxer's ever made 130 million.
Sonnen broke it down plainly. Floyd didn't actually make the kind of money he said he did, and worse, he still needs money coming from someone who's seen both sides of the fight game. That comment landed like a body shot. The mansions, the jets, the stacks of cash on camera. According to Chael, it was all part of the illusion behind the curtain. Floyd was just another fighter overspending, overcompensating, and now overdrawn. And then came Bill Haney, throwing a shot straight from the streets. This wasn't just criticism, this was mockery, and it came from someone who knows the game inside out. The respect Floyd once commanded is being replaced by open laughter.
Yeah, Floyd was right. We still in the street, and we flipping birds. But if you need some help, Floyd, I'm in the streets, and you the one that went missing. Yeah, we flipping birds. You see, we still flipping birds. Little birdie told me that you might need some help.
Teen mocking Floyd's sudden disappearance from the spotlight, Haney didn't hold back. He questioned why Mayweather was out in the streets, asking if the undefeated champ needed help or a handout. The tone was sharp and sarcastic, and hit where it hurt most: Floyd's pride. When a trainer like Bill Haney, who's watched the boxing game from both the corner and the business end, starts clowning the former king of the sport, it shows just how far the mighty have fallen, and now the illusion of wealth is starting to unravel publicly. What was once considered untouchable, Mayweather's real estate empire, is now being questioned. The flash was loud, but the facts are quiet.
Mayweather Jr., there's a story circulating that Business Insider did talking about this $400 million property deal that he had been discussing here in New York City. But now, according to Business Insider, it's not what you think it is. They said there's no evidence there's been a sale of these properties, and it's 62 rental apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan. Here is what Floyd Mayweather had said at the time on a video that he posted on his Instagram.
I love bringing the people into my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me. Guess what? You can do the same.
On Way Up with Angela Yee, the team broke down a Business Insider report that raised serious doubts about one of Mayweather's boldest claims: a $400 million real estate deal in New York City. Floyd had gone on Instagram claiming he bought 62 apartment buildings in Manhattan with no partners, no help and full ownership of retail space, but according to the investigation, there's no proof, no records of any sale, and no evidence that these buildings ever changed hands. Just another flex for the gram, and one that might be catching up with him. Mayweather said, "You can do the same, but if the story itself isn't even real, what exactly are people supposed to follow?" More and more, it's starting to look like the lifestyle Floyd sells doesn't actually exist. But then came the update, and with it, even more confusion. It turns out Floyd may have been involved in the deal, but not quite how he claimed. According to We Up with Angela Ye, he reportedly inked a $42 million investment in a portion of the Black Spruce portfolio. However, that doesn't mean he owns 62 buildings outright. What it does mean is that he likely owns a share, a piece, of a much larger portfolio alongside other investors.
Now we're trying to figure out what happened, right, with Business Insider. So according to another update, he did ink a $402 million deal for a Black Spruce portfolio. When he said that it was all his and no one invested, he meant no one was funding his part of the investment but him. And so I think this is something where maybe he owns a piece of this or shares in it, but it hasn't changed hands because the majority owner is still the same owner that it was before. I'm trying to understand what happened with this, but I know there's a story that's circulating, so just putting it out there. Whew, it's a tough one. I'm trying to understand as a real estate person myself what exactly he is communicating when he's saying that he owns this, because they're trying to make it seem like he doesn't, but what it seems like is that he owns shares of these buildings, and it's a larger, it's part of an investment that he did on his own.
So when Floyd said they're all mine with no partners, that wasn't entirely true. What he likely meant is that his stake was self-funded, not that he owned the entire development. And that's the problem in Floyd's world. Everything is exaggerated. The money, the ownership, the lifestyle, all louder than the fine print. But now the fine print is catching up. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has long been considered one of the highest-paid athletes in the history of sports. A reputation built not only on his undefeated boxing record, but also on his unmatched skill for self-promotion in business. After stepping away from professional boxing in 2017, he left behind a legacy defined by massive pay-per-view numbers, blockbuster purses, and global stardom, but retirement didn't slow him down, at least not when it came to spending. Mayweather continued flaunting an extravagant lifestyle with multi-million-dollar real estate deals, exotic cars, and luxury jewelry.
I want to show people how I live on a daily basis. This right here is red. So we got this. We like to call this house right here the Palace. This is the EWB, extended wheelbase, Gucci pillars. Party depends on how you want to close the door. Stop walking on filming. Come on. I didn't show you guys this. I bought this like 4 or 5 days ago. I got all type of toys, Apple TV, espresso machine, all type of crazy stuff, bro. Talked about this yesterday, talking about that. It's blue on the seats. Crocodile Himalaya, 110,000. That's what we do. Live life, have fun. Work hard, play hard. Show you guys my lifestyle.
Behind the scenes, though, cracks were forming. One of the most telling signs came when reports surfaced that he owed over $22 million to the IRS, a financial burden so heavy it's widely believed to be the reason he stepped back into the ring for exhibition matches.